Hi guys, good morning. I'm working on this project. Now, I already explained on how to do some of these things and how to make the little snake-like attributes. So what I want to do next is I want to show you how to put like a little pearl in with two little pearls on the side. And for that we're going to start off with 3 threads of soutache or braids or whatever you want to call them. And because I'm using a 6mm pearl, I don't need to pre-curve it much. I'm just going to go run my thread through a couple of times, and I would say just watch my hands because there's really not much to talk about or to explain as I go along. So I'm just going through there a couple of times. And you can use as much braid as you want. It's not really important how much braid you use. You can use a small part or a big part. It depends on how far you want to go with your little adventure on this. So you might decide this area with the pearls here is enough. That might be all you need, or maybe you decide you want to add braids. So that's basically why I got a little bit more thread. It's about what's it like? Yeah, the size of my arm, from my hand to my armpit. Just in case you wonder. I don't know where I'm going because that piece I'm making is basically freehand, and so I'm using up the thread that I got and see where it will take me. So I got a couple of them done, and as always that thread at the end is pretty annoying, so I'm going to cut that off and get rid of that, and it won't come out, you'll see. And I'm not too worried about this showing because another braid will come on top of that later on. So the best thing is to start with 3 braids and maybe add braids later on. I'm going to put my little 6mm glass pearl on there, and I'm just going to go through there. And I'm going to go to the side, and as much to the side as possible so I can get it in there at least, and then I'll work my way back more towards the middle. Maybe this would be easier if I had a white, because I'm using black thread. So I'm going back through the same 3 threads, pretty much on that same point as where I came out. Pull that through, turn it around, go back in there, and come out again. Hold that, go back in again, and now I'm going to go a little closer. To the side, right next to the hole. Go back in again. To the end. And now I'm going to do the other side. Turn that around like that. Go back in there. Push that around, and I'm just going to go very far to the side where really there is no not even close to the hole. Like that. Gotta grab that together, and you can see already the shape forming. Go back in there. Into the hole again. Go back out. And now a little bit more. Pushing that thread a little bit more to the front. And basically you just have to go up and down several times. So I'm going down one more time, moving up a little bit closer to get that to go around that little pearl a little better and a little tighter. So as you can see, it's already shaping well. And don't worry about the threads here that you see. It's not important. Something else will come and cover that later on. So going back. I'm going to pick up the other side to get that a little closer. And now I'm just going to close that up. Getting all threads together. And I'm going through all 6. And I'm pretty far away from the hole, but that way you can work your way back with little stitches. Gotta make sure that all your braids are at the same height to keep that nice. Go back in again. Close that up even a little bit more. And what I'm going to do next is I'm going to go to the middle. Get a bead. Let me see what kind of bead. I'm going to take a silver bead. I think that will show better. Size. This is a size 11 bead. Miyuki. Nothing spectacular. You can use any kind of seed bead that you want. I'm going back in the hole. I'm going back down. Through that seed bead. And to the other side. And now all the threads that you saw earlier are gone. Next thing I want to do is I want to add a pearl. I'm going to split up my 3 threads. And I'm just going to pick up my pearl where it came out. Because it's so small it doesn't really matter. You don't have to pre-curve. And it's about that. That's where I need to go. It's coming out here. So I'm just pushing it in. Going back down. Gotta hold them right though. Going back down into the pearl. Into the side. Into the side. into the pearl, and I'm just going to move it over a little bit. Okay, and now we need to just go around like that. That's the shape that I want. And you gotta be pretty careful with that, because when you go in behind something, your braids might not be leveled with each other anymore, so you gotta try and do the best you can. I'm gonna go into the middle, and I'm gonna go out, and you gotta try and get in the middle there. Keep your braids in the middle of the 3 threads, that's the most important. Make your thread go into the middle of the 3 braids, that's the most important thing. And this would be easier if you could do it on the back, but then you don't see what you're doing on the front, so that might not turn out very well. Okay. And especially with very small beads, that's pretty hard to do, but you know, it looks good, so it's worth it. So as long as you know that the front looks okay, you can slide it to the back to put your needle through, if that's possible. You'll have to just reposition them every time to get them in the right order. Okay, so I'm pretty much on the back now. Pull that through. And now I want to just make sure that that stays in place. So I'm coming out and I'm going in between my braids. And you gotta be perfectly in between them. So here I'm sticking through the white. So you gotta be careful. Gotta go in between the braids. And back. And on the back, try to get through the braids where it doesn't show, so that this will be tight to that area. And there. And I'm going to go and continue going straight a bit. Because I need the other braid to come and join up with me on the side there, and then I will sew them together. So that's one side. Now you need to do the other side, and the best thing to do is to just, I don't know if you can see that, go into your purl, this is the back side, and come out of that purl again. And now come out of the purl on the other side. Into the side. Adding the purl. And now go around. So I'm going to finish that up, so pause me now until you have done the other loop also like that. Okay, so now I have this. I got my 2 loops on the back side. Looks pretty good on the front. And I am going to sew those together. And make sure that stays straight because I still need to use those later on. Okay, this is what I got. Now the next thing I want to do is I want to add a new thread. I'm going to do that now. Just a short thread, nothing important, and I'm going to add this like that. So I need to get up here into the middle. Oh, I'm going to go in 3. I'm going to split these open. Easier to do. And I'm going to just go through there to the middle. And I'm going to add that thread with seed beads. So I'm going to pick up a seed bead. I'm going to go into the middle. I'm going to go back in there into your seed bead and into your 3. And now we have the first one on there. And see if we can keep those over there. I'm going to go back in there. Right next to the other one. Add a seed bead. Find my correct position next to the other one. back in, position that where I want it, and go back down into the middle. And I'm going to do that until about here, till I get here, right in front of that loop. And now you got to really make sure that that last one is really, really tight. So instead of going through there only once, go through there like 2 or 3 times. Okay, so that's how you add a second thread, but you also have to get it somewhere, you know, make it go somewhere, because basically that's it, you know, you don't want to go over your pearls that you just put on there with blood, sweat, and tears. So you can either, you know, do another loop like that, but I think I'm going to kind of stay. I'm going to go and close this up. The point. And now I'm going to add a nice bead in between there. And I'm going to close that up a little bit more just to make sure I'm on the safe side. I'm going to get out of there. I'm going to go into the middle there. I'm going to go up in the middle. So I'm going to go in there, up, get my super duo to slide in. I'm going to find the other hole of the super duo. Got to stay in the middle. Grab my other hole and tie that down. And now I just need to close that up. I'm going to go through the hole one more time in front of the seed beads. And I'm going to grab that thread right behind there. To close that up. And you of course can put more seed beads in between there if you want, which would also be a good plan, I think. Another layer. Sometimes you gotta be careful. As you can see, I didn't go through my black thread, or maybe you didn't see. These are not Miyuki seed beads, these are store-bought beads. These are size 9/0 from Gutermann. So a little bigger than the Miyukis. Miyukis are 11/0. But, you know, crappy beads, they gotta go sometime. So, good projects. Soutache are good projects. Spring cleaning projects. Gonna do one more. Coming down. And I'm now going to tie my threads together. And I'm basically playing freehand here, so anything goes. So I got this tied together. And let's see what we can do next. I can go back again. I think that's a good plan. I'm going to go in there. And I'm going to grab me some more pearls. Grab my black pearl. And I'm going to go in there. I'm going to go back. And this is the one annoying thing that I don't like about Soutache, is that thread goes around your braids all the time, and you know, you have no idea why that is, but it just is. No reason for it to. It just does. So I'm going up and down, get that pearl tightened up. So basically going up and down now, trying to keep that nice and round. It's a little bit difficult. Okay. And I'm going to add a seed bead in there. there. Going back down again. And I just went through my white thread, and that happens too. And I'm going to close that up. I'm going to close this up really good. And I think I'm going to add another white super duo again. So I'm going to make sure that that's closed up really good. Put that in between there. I think I'll do another pearl. And this is just fun to do. You never know where you're going or what you're going to do. But it's just so much fun to do. And I'm running out of thread right now, so I need to finish this up. So what I'm going to do is I need to get behind my project. With the threads, which would be about here. So I need to make a way to get back there. I got a glass bead here. I'm gonna just put that in there. So now I got this, and I tape that down. I don't use glue. So now I need to get that part, which is loose, I need to get that part on here and tied on there. So you got this from the front view, and I like it. It's a way of adding a new thread on the side. You're not going into the rest of the project, it's just on the side. So I think that's pretty cool. Wherever your imagination takes you, I guess. Gotta make sure that the tape doesn't show. And I'm gonna go into these braids to get that out of the way. And there's no doubt something else is going to be behind this to keep that more straight. But I don't know yet. I guess I'll see where I'll be going. So that's basically it, guys. This is just one way to add a braid that would be just on a part of open Soutache, where you can add a new piece of Soutache and see where that will take you. And there's also ways, of course, to connect the two parts of the Soutache, where you add a braid that just flows with the part that you already made. But I figured that it was easiest to show you first how to do it on a separate part, because that's just simple to figure out. Okay, well, I hope you liked it, guys. I don't know where this will be going, but I guess you will see it added somewhere along the way on this part. And yeah, I have no doubt when it's finished it's going to be gorgeous. Okay, thank you. Bye.